The man paused, his eyes flickering toward the street. I was bluffing, but I knew Miller's ledger had enough dirt to make these guys paranoid for a lifetime. I can get you your money, I continued, and I can get the feds off your tail. But it's going to cost you exactly 1 out of Order Bay and a complete exit from my property. Forever. The man stepped closer, the smell of tobacco and expensive cologne filling the narrow space. You think you're a player now, wash monkey? You think you can negotiate with us? I don't think, I said, pointing to the security camera I'd secretly rewired to a cloud server 10 minutes ago. I know. Because right now, this conversation is being streamed to a private link. If my heart rate goes up, or if you don't leave, the send button gets pressed. The man in the suit stared at the camera, then back at me. A tense silence filled the tunnel, broken only by the sound of soapy water dripping into the floor drains. He laughed, a cold, dry sound, and signaled his men to lower their hands. You've got guts, kid, he said, smoothing his lapels. Keep the bay. Keep the crypto. We don't stay where the light is this bright. But Miller? He isn't as gone as you think. And he's much more desperate than we are. They turned and walked out. 5 minutes later, the black SUV peeled out of the lot, followed immediately by the nondescript white sedan. The shark had smelled blood, and the hunters had followed the shark. I was finally alone in my tunnel. I went to the office to call Jax, but the monitors were flickering. Every screen in the building suddenly displayed the same thing, the system error message I used to see when I worked for Miller. Then, the intercom crackled. You always were a smart aleck. Miller's voice rasped through the speakers. He wasn't in the building. He had patched into the remote management software he'd installed years ago. You think you won? You're sitting on a bomb, kid. I didn't just leave a ledger. I left a backdoor. If I can't have the sparkle, nobody can. On the monitor, I saw the pressure gauges for the main water tanks redlining. Miller was overrides the safety valves, pumping air and volatile chemicals into the pressurized lines. In 3 minutes, the entire pump room would explode, leveling the block. I didn't have time to hack him back. I grabbed my heavy-duty pipe wrench and sprinted toward the back utility shed. I could hear the pipes beginning to scream, a high-pitched metallic whistle that shook the ground. I reached the main shut-off valve, but it was electronic, and Miller had it locked. Looking for this? I spun around. Miller was standing by the back fence, looking like a man who had been living in his car for a month. He held a remote detonator, the manual override.